Vanessa reveals Afton to be her father. She's holding the same airplane. That right there, that is cold.
I
Gifting
didn't
toys from your
even-
victims to your daughter. But not only is it close, it's also helpful because it lets us put together a rough timeline. You see,
Nah! He killed Mike's little brother and is gonna give the... Bro, Afton gotta go, bro. Afton, like, he gotta... bro, in every continuity of the lore, he gotta go. Greetings, my empire. Drezu here, back with another video, and today we finna watch Film Theory. The FNAF movie just changed the lore. You feel me now? Listen. So, the FNAF movie. I watched it. Like 2 days after it came out. And I ain't gonna lie, the movie was nothing like, I wasn't expecting the movie to be like that, bro. Like, it was completely different from what I thought it was gonna be. First of all, it wasn't scary. You feel me? I don't think it was supposed to be a scary movie. There was only one time that I like jumped a little bit, and it was like, I wasn't even scared. I did jump, bro. And it was like some transition. I don't know what they was doing, but all of a sudden they transitioned into Balloon Boy's face or something. It caught me. I'll admit it. It caught me. But other than that, like when I came into the movie, I thought he was gonna be doing like Mike. I thought he was gonna be doing what we doing. Like he's really in there, you know what I'm saying? Checking cameras, checking vents, stuff like that, closing doors and stuff like that. Bro, he was playing around with the animatronics. Like, I don't want to spoil, like spoiler alert. I mean, if you're watching this, you probably, you know what I'm saying? But, bro, he was sitting there building forts with the animatronics. Why wasn't they trying to build forts with me? They was trying to kill me. Foxy sitting there building a fort with him. When I play, Foxy run into my door. Like, man, it got me tight. It got me heated. It got me heated, bro. But another thing, the lore was completely different, bro. There was like a lot of different things. Mike wasn't Afton's son. Vanessa was actually Afton's daughter. Like, a lot of things about the lore chambers, it was this dream state. The dream state was cool when he, like, you know, he goes into the dream and try to figure out, you know what I'm saying, who killed this little brother. That was cool, you feel me? But the lore was completely different. I had a friend tell me that it was supposed to be more based on the books than the actual games. So, like, I say, I'm here with it, bro. I'm Film Theory, Matt Pat is finna tell me the lore, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, I'm confused. Like, I need to see, like, what's going on? You know what I mean? Anyway, before we get into it, you already know I'm gonna ask you to hit the like button, subscribe, join the empire. You already know it helps me out, helps the channel out, helps the channel grow. I appreciate the support. And without further ado, let's get in here, bro. Let's see what it's talking about, man. Let's shine.
hello, Internet. Welcome to Film Theory.
Yeah.
A show that knows that a picture is worth 1,000 words.
The drawings, show them.
Bro, I hated her, bro. But I couldn't stand her. Like, you know, she didn't listen. Like, I ain't gonna lie, Mike was pretty wild to bring her into the, you know what I'm saying? But, like, he told you to stay. Stay. Little badass kid, bruh. Getting into a cab with an animatronic.
What really happened?
And what did you draw? A yellow rabbit hitting the subscribe button?
They can see you now.
Well, great. That is the point of the subscribe
Yes,
button,
they
after
did.
all. Thanks, Abby. Finally
Ta-
it's happened. After 8 agonizingly
Actually, speaking about getting, bro, I ain't gonna lie, that was the weirdest part of the movie. Like, you know, I know it was supposed to be like a Corey Kenshin cameo. You know, he's in the movie, you know what I'm saying? He be doing FNAF videos and stuff like that. But it's like, bro, he was a cab driver. He not gonna ask questions like, yo, like, I you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? But there's an animatronic in the back. with a little girl. You're not gonna, yo, with your parents. Like, I don't know.
Long years in development hell, hopping from studio to studio, director to director, the Five Nights at Freddy's movie is finally out for you to go see right now. And man, has this been a commercial hit. As of the writing of this script, just one weekend into release, the movie's made over $152 million at the box
movie did
office,
good.
more than 7 times its own budget. And that's despite being available to stream on Peacock, where, oh wait, it's also the most viewed movie on Peacock ever. Suck on that, my big fat Greek wedding 3. It's also Blumhouse's most successful opening weekend to date, which means that more people are turning out to see Springtrap wielding his knife than Michael Myers. Maybe now Hollywood will finally bother to get the name of this thing.
That's tough. Dang. The community big, bro. The Five Nights at Freddy community, they showed up.
Right.
And his other movie,
They
Friday Nights
performed.
at Freddy's, comes to theaters and streaming on Peacock October 27th.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
What did I say?
Friday nights. It's been 8 or 9 years since I first
Friday
met
Nights
Scott
at
Tucker,
Freddy.
who created this.
Why do we get it
Five
wrong?
Nights.
That sounds kind of cold.
Who cares?
Friday
Forget
Nights
'em.
at
This
Freddy's.
thing was made for the fans. From Sparky the Dog to Dream Theory to...
It's just a theory.
You bet it is, and today
Bro,
we're
I
getting
didn't see him. When I watched it, I didn't see he was in the movie, but I don't know. Maybe I saw him and just thought he looked like a regular person. I ain't gonna lie. He looked like a regular person. I don't know. I don't know.
Today we're theorizing about the actual movie, and boy, is there a lot to talk about here. True story, after the movie, I basically locked myself in the room with Lee and Tom, the film and game theory creative directors, and we busted out our trusty whiteboard to figure out exactly what was going on in the movie and where the story was going to head in the future, because there were just a lot of details left hanging. What was up with the Balloon Boy figurine? How's no one freaked out by the fact that there are bodies in those animatronics? Wasn't this like the most structurally unsound table for it of all time? That last one, perhaps?
Sitting there playing around like...
Today, we're going to be looking at all the Easter eggs, secrets, and hidden lore from the movie, then comparing those to other parts of the franchise, both the books and the games, in order to predict where the story of the FNAF 2 movie is going to go years before they actually make it. So that's our one job for today, but before we get to it, I also have to shout out our brand new line of officially licensed FNAF theory wear.
Tight shit. Check out the merch, you know what I'm saying? But, bro, Afton was on Mike's ass, bro. Bro, I don't know how he was moving like that in the suit, man.
So to begin, we should point out that we already do have some vague idea where the sequel's gonna head. In an interview with Variety, FNAF director Emma Tammy explained that the first movie was tied to the first game, so a second film would likely tie into a second game, which, kinda goes without saying, but also should probably make our lives easy, right? Yeah, not quite. As we mentioned in our first prediction theory, the strategy for the movieverse seems to be taking iconic bits and pieces from across the entire franchise, games, books, fan theories, even hoaxes, and distilling it all down into the most recognizable version of FNAF there is. That's how we got Mike Schmidt from FNAF 1 hanging out with Vanessa from Security Breach, fighting Springtrap from FNAF 3, and saving Abby from getting stuck into a Springlock version of Ella from the Silver Eyes novel, with an ending that was ripped straight out of the fourth closet. It is literally FNAF the smoothie. Everything dumped into a blender, chopped up, and then poured back out onto the big screen. So yeah, well, it did follow the same
so that
broad
makes sense. So it's like everything, but they're choosing parts to... Okay. I feel it.
Brooks is the first game, Five Nights in the FNAF 1 pizzeria with ghost kids in suits, it is definitely not the same story. It's also important to note the changes to the story that have been added in. One example has to be the time that these movies take place. It's widely accepted that the FNAF 1 video game takes place somewhere around 1993, and yet in this scene from the movie, we see a date on a security camera that reads April 6th, 2000, about 7 years later. Another big example, though we've long theorized that the story of the original FNAF games takes place in Utah, that is not the case in the film. In the film, during the scene where Aunt Jane is confronting Mike at Abby's school, her lawyer hands Mike some family court paperwork. If you pause and read the fine print on the documents, you'll find the URL mncourts.gov, which is the official website for the Minnesota judicial system. Additionally, we can see a phone number with the...
the investigation is real. This nigga Batman like Batman, bro.
Area code 651, which is connected to the St. Paul area and eastern suburbs of Minnesota. And get this, I kid you not, there's a small town in this area code named Afton. You cannot make that up. Honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if Scott moved the entire movie to Minnesota just for that change alone. Lastly, there's also this decal on Vanessa's police cruiser, GFPD. PD stands for police department. That part's pretty darn obvious, but then what about the GF? Well, honestly, that could stand for any city or township with those same initials, from Grand Grand Forks to Glen Falls to Great Falls, but included in that list is Granite Falls, just 2 hours west of St. Paul, whose cop cars, at least according to the website, follow the exact same black and white color pattern that we see in the movie. Speaking of clues from the cars that are seen throughout the movie, we can also reasonably assume that Mike's brother Garrett was kidnapped in the early 80s, based on this shot from Mike's dream sequence. By taking the rear end of William Afton's car here and reverse image searching for it, we're able to identify this as a Ford Fairmont Futura.
They let that little boy wander off for too long.
1980 and 1983. You can immediately see the connections here between the unique vertical taillight design and the boxy body shape. But why then does that matter? Well, Mike's brother Garrett is likely the first child that Afton abducted and killed. In Mike's dream flashbacks, we very clearly see Garrett holding a toy airplane as he's being taken away in the back of Afton's car. And where do we see that airplane again? When Vanessa reveals Afton to be her father. She's holding the same airplane. That right there, that is cold. Your victims to your daughter. But not only is it close, it's also helpful because it lets us put together a rough timeline. You see,
he killed Mike's little brother and is gonna give the bro. Afton gotta go, bro. Afton, like, he gotta, bro. In every continuity of the Lord, he gotta go. He has to. He's a menace. Every books, games, and the movie, he's a menace. He has to go.
Afton and Vanessa are clearly in a still operational pizzeria in this photograph, which means it had to have been taken before the other kids went missing, causing Freddy's to shut down. In other words, Garrett was the first of Afton's victims that we currently know of. And that right there, that's important, because in the games, Afton's first victim, and the one most closely associated with his car, goes on to possess the puppet, a marionette-esque character that serves as a protector and guide to all the other spirit children. It's the first victim that gives gifts and gives life to the other animatronics after their murders. We see this possession happening in FNAF 6's security puppet minigame. Notice the tire tracks out there in the rain.
Garrett
we see the exact
is
same
the
event
marionette.
from a different angle in FNAF 2. Notice that cool purple car. From there, the rest of FNAF 2's hidden minigames then show us the puppet trying to protect the other dead children from Afton. And when it can't, the puppet decides to bring them to life in the form of animatronics.
Okay.
The robotic voice here
I'll remember this.
Save them. Does it sound familiar? It should. That same robotic voice appears at the very end of the movie's credits.
It did. We waited until the end.
Once the whole thing wraps, the voice has spelled out, "Come find me," in the exact same way that the puppet communicated to the player in the FNAF 2 minigames. And who needs to be found in the movie? Garrett. See, the fact that they never resolved what exactly happened to Garrett was a big thing that stuck out to me when I was watching this thing. After all, it was Mike's entire motivation and his only clear outright connection to both Afton and Vanessa. His fate is definitely going to come up again in the sequel, and all the signs are pointing to the puppet from the FNAF 2 video game. What's more, did you notice the music that was playing during that section? It's a music box. Another nod to the puppet, who in the games is kept calm by constantly
Bro,
whining.
I hated FNAF 2, bro. This was too hard, bro. This was too hard. Bro. It took me like 3 or 4 streams to beat this game, bro. It's embarrassing.
A music box. In short, Garrett is possessing the puppet in this world, and here he is literally trying to tell Mike and the audience to come find him in the sequel. But stop for a minute and consider
It ain't gonna be me.
crime here.
I'm sorry.
He's out in nature. He kidnaps Garrett and presumably leaves him alive longer than his normal victims. He keeps the kid's toy and then gives it to his daughter. They're even in a completely different state. Unlike the rest of Afton's crimes, where he just lures kids to the back of the pizzeria and kills them, here things feel premeditated. They feel personal. And that would align with both the games and the books, where Afton's first murder isn't just a random killing, it's targeted against one person, his business partner and the original builder of the animatronics, Henry.
Small souls trapped in prisons of my making, now set to new purpose. A wound first inflicted on me, but then one that I let bleed out to cause all of this.
In fact, in the novel trilogy, Afton does the exact same thing that he does in the movie. He kidnaps Henry's daughter, Charlie, before ultimately killing her. Basically, all signs point to Garrett not just being a random victim, but rather to him being the son of Afton's partner and rival, Henry, the man who helped Afton build all of the animatronics. See, as I was piecing together the details from the movie, I started to notice something. The Afton and Schmidt families from the movie seem awfully close to the family structures from the games, except in reverse. You see, in the game series, we know that Afton Afton has himself 3 children: Michael, Crying Child, and Elizabeth. The oldest son, Michael, plays a prank as a kid which gets his younger brother killed in the iconic bite of 1983.
Crazy.
From there on, Mike becomes obsessed with atoning for his mistake, eventually becoming a security guard and releasing the spirit of his brother into the afterlife. Then there's Elizabeth, who eventually gets trapped and dies inside a baby. A suit that is increasingly looking to be a spring-lock animatronic. Now let's check out the Schmidt family over in the movie. You have, again, a family of 3, 2 boys and a girl. Mike, the older brother, is a security guard. You have, again, a family of 3, 2 boys and a girl.
I don't know why, bro. I laughed in the movie too when they showed a close up of this little nigga face. I don't know. I just started laughing, bro. I feel like and then like the when they was filming the movie, they was like, "Yo, look sad, look sad." I'm like, what?
Girl. Mike, the older brother, is a security guard who's obsessed with atoning for the time that he got his younger brother Garrett kidnapped and killed. Then there's Abby, who's nearly trapped and killed inside the
I don't think that was his fault. That looked it's low-key the parents' fault.
1 for 1. Meanwhile, Afton in the movie seems to have himself only 1 daughter, Vanessa, just like Henry had himself 1 daughter, Charlie, in the games. So if they've switched dynamics, that could make Mike's dad here the representative of Henry Emily from the games.
Her mom died a little while back, and Dad, he couldn't handle it, so
they leave Mike's dad's fate vague. To me, looks like it was deliberately done in case they ever wanted to bring Mike's dad back into the story in a role similar to Henry's. But perhaps most interesting of all, if you look in the background of the employee training video, you can see a man who looks very similar to Mike's dad working on the animatronics, just like Henry would have done.
I ain't catch these things,
this is also, as far as I can tell, an uncredited performance, but one look at Mike's dad, this guy from the training video, and the way that Henry's portrayed in places like the character encyclopedia, it shows—
I don't know, the hair texture. Oh, I muted it by accident. The hair texture is a little bit off.
Connection between the 3 of them. But not only would this connection fit with the established game lore, it would also explain why William Afton recognizes Mike. Early in the movie, we see Afton have a moment of recognition when he reads Mike's last name,
Mr. Michael.
But according to US Census data, there's around 166,000 people with the last name Schmidt here in the US. So either this is just a case of pure movie coincidence, or William recognizes not only the last name Schmidt, but Mike Schmidt specifically in the general age range.
I did not, bro. My friend that I went to go watch the movie with, he called it, bro. He called it. He said that was going to be the main villain, bro. I didn't know this was going to be Afton. I ain't gonna lie.
That his
I ain't gonna lie. It caught me by surprise.
Why he's so sure that this is someone from his past. More evidence for this? The fact that William knows that Mike has a brother without it ever being addressed.
This is perfect. First I killed your brother, now I killed you.
Sure, we can assume the spirit children told him.
Little ones tell me you have a sister.
Or maybe Vanessa, but that's a bit less satisfying than him just knowing and taking out his vendetta against every member of the Schmidt family. And for those of you saying that Henry's last name is Emily, it might be, but that's never actually been officially confirmed. We've always thought it was a bit bizarre to have as a last name, and let's be honest, it could just as easily be Charlie's middle name, Charlotte Emily Schmidt. But last, let's talk about William. You'll notice that I just pulled the line that indicates that the spirits talk to William throughout this movie, which is a very important detail. In fact, if you notice, they really gave Afton a lot of explicit control.
Even if it wasn't Emily, this is like separate lore. Like, this is separate. So it's like, what even, you know?
Over what the spirits are doing here. See, while he seems to understand what was happening in the games, it never seemed like he could outright control the animatronics. In the books, it's a little bit different. He eventually is able to control the animatronics, but not until the last novel of the trilogy. Here, though, he seems to understand all of it from the get-go. They tell him about Abby. He understands the importance of the pictures on the wall.
What have you done?
And as the spring locks in his suit are going off and he's dying, what does he do? He basically looks directly in the camera, says his catchphrase,
I always come.
Trap helmet. Why? What sense would that make? Well, it's a pretty clear indication that this Afton explicitly knows how possession works, and it involves being completely put inside of the suit like this. Putting on that helmet is basically Afton accepting his fate, knowing that he'll be back, able to possess the suit and survive. So right here we have ourselves a smarter Afton who is years further in his understanding of the spiritual world than either the Afton in the games or the books. Which leads me to this, an animatronic buried in the parts and service room of the pizzeria. One that you can't see in the movie, but you can see in the behind-the-scenes footage from Dawko during his tour of the movie set. An animatronic with rounded human skull, silver eyes, and human teeth. While this could just be background set dressing, I don't think that's the case. If this is truly an Afton who understands the power of agony in granting eternal life, if this is an Afton who has gone so far as to build a Freddy torture chair for extracting remnant from his victims, I'm thinking his experiments with building passable robotic humans has already begun. This isn't just me playing the Robot Gregory game again, it is the only explanation for the parts and services room to have an animatronic with human teeth and realistic human head proportions and eyes, and above it hanging from the top of the shop, a robotic hand with 5 fully articulating fingers and human proportions. No other animatronic in this series fits this sort of description. Does this mean he's already built a humanoid, or is this just an early phase of his experiments? It's unclear, but it does give a bit more credit to Vanessa's bloodless stab wound at the end of the movie being more than just an excuse to get himself a PG-13 rating. My real guess, though, is that there's a robot Garrett walking around, and that he'll be the reveal at the end of the movie, just like Charlie the puppet is revealed to be a robot at the end of the 4th closet. A world-shattering revelation for Mike as he comes to terms with the nature of his brother and his father's weird creations, before the final movie where he's tasked with having to burn it all down. Honestly, the pieces are before the final movie.
I thought that says pizza. I thought that said something else.
Movie where he's tasked with having to burn it all down. Honestly, the pieces are in place for us. Or not. All the next movie has to do is drop a Markiplier cameo and then show me a clip of Mangle and I'm in. But hey, one last reminder to check out our incredible officially licensed FNAF merch.
Bro. Okay. Alright, so I got a better understanding of that lore now. A way better understanding. I feel like I can appreciate the movie more. Okay. So it's like game and books combined, pieces of the combined. It still has the connections, but different. I ain't gonna lie, I fuck with that like how the Afton family and the Henry family is like switched around. Like now he has one daughter, you know what I'm saying, a daughter, and now Henry has, you know what I'm saying? Like 2 sons and a daughter. So that means eventually, I forget her name, annoying little girl that was in the movie. Eventually, she's gonna get by baby. Eventually, or it might be some a whole nother animatronic, but it might be baby. You feel me? Anyway, I hope y'all enjoyed, man. If y'all did, make sure y'all hit the like button, subscribe, join the Empire. Let me know in the comments what's your favorite part. You feel me? Yeah, that's pretty much it. Dreams of Empire out. I'm gonna see y'all.
Gotta hold my ground. Smile left and I lost and found. I don't cheese, I'ma walk and frown. Hey, you up, can you hold me down? Spin it up, cause I know you round. Left phone, what happens now? Been around, look what I got. Back wound and a face on clown. And it's cool. Got a pill for you if you choose to swing that move.